Hey everyone, this is Samlock24, and today we're going to be talking about a rock deck. And let's go ahead and get started. And then, if you want to go ahead and stay for the news and the changes that they're doing and some of the card trader updates, you can go ahead and do so after the deck profile. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So this one I saved with, I think it was Yugi. So let me go ahead and change over to that. View edit deck. Alright, here it is. Alright, so when it comes to the rock deck, there's really not much or that many monsters that are rock type and that are actually good. There's a Ragnarok Dragon, I think it's called, but it's really, it's kind of it counters, or it makes it to where you can't use this card this card as good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it out. So if you don't know what it does, is you can special summon this card by removing from play any 2 rock type monsters in your graveyard. During your standby phase, remove from play 1 rock-type monster in your graveyard, or send this card to the graveyard. Have the attack and defense of any monster that battles with this card. So the card is actually really good once you get it out. And the fact that anything that attacks it is halved, it's just... I think it's kind of a ridiculous effect, especially if you have a ton of rock-type monsters in the graveyard. I was trying to build a deck with Magical Merchant, but instead of doing the Magical Merchant, I went ahead and do the Magnet Warrior. And for this particular one, the version I'm running 1 Valkyria on the Magnet Warrior, 3 Delta, 1 Block Golem, 1 Beta, 1 Gamma, 3 Beta, and then 1 Alpha. You can choose whatever, like, I guess, amount of Magnet Warriors you want to go ahead and run. This is just the version, or the amount that I wanted to run. So I think I would have preferred to run more of these if I had a chance, but there's only a limit of 3. Because it is, I think, the strongest one. It's at 17. That one's at 15, and this one's at 15 also. This guy can search out everything else. And then with this thing, you can load up the graveyard to go ahead and be able to summon your Gaia Plate the Earth Giant. So it serves the Delta, the Magnet Warrior, serves 2 purposes. It loads up your graveyard, and whenever he's destroyed, you can go ahead and special summon the big guy Valkyria on the Magnet Warrior. Now for the spells and traps, I'm running 3 enemy controllers, 2 Floodgate Trap Holes, and 2 Wall of Disruptions. Now, I'm not going to show you basically any replays, because when I played the deck, I got completely trashed. And I think where we're at right now with this particular rock deck, I think there's really no purpose in you building it or even playing it unless you want to play like a fun game in casual or something like that. Because if you go into rank with this deck, you're just going to get completely destroyed. The deck is kind of slow. It does need time to set up, and if you play against a burn deck, you kind of auto lose because you can't get you don't have any counters for burn. So that's like a huge thing. And there's a lot of burn decks out there. There's Weevil, there's a Bamboo deck, there's Taya Burn. So there's a ton of burn decks, and if you face against one of them, you basically auto lose. And I was playing against a lot of burns, and even if you play against like samurais, they will still completely trash you, because everything, most of the samurais are, or at least the better ones, are over 15, and then they can destroy back row, and they have different effects other than just being there and recruiting. In this particular version, we only have 1 recruit, and that's with Beta, the electromagnetic warrior thing. I don't count this as a recruit because it sends to the graveyard, but I mean, if you do like a counter, I guess, toolbox, you can use Block Golem and bring them out of the graveyard, but still, it isn't the entire, I guess, Magnet Warriors really don't do much of anything, and that's the reason I've actually never done a profile with them. They really don't do anything. They search each other out, or they try to be like a gadget deck, but they're never going to be able to be a gadget deck because they can't search each other out like the gadgets. And if you play TCG, you know that gadgets are actually a really good deck and a good anti-meta deck, and hopefully they release them soon. I have no clue why they haven't released them yet. But overall, if you want to have fun with the deck, go ahead and give it a try. But like I said, I did lose every single game that I played with it. I was losing to basically everything. Right now, even if you play against a random beat stick deck, everything runs monsters that are 17, 18, or 1900 attack. So this deck can't really do much of anything. The only thing that you might have a chance is you could reload your graveyard a little bit faster and get this guy out. But then again, you do have to keep up with the cost, and that's to remove a rock type from your graveyard, and that's, I think it's asking too much of it. But if you're like in the late game and you summon this guy, it's extremely hard for your opponent to win. But that's just in theory. I haven't actually proven that. Like I said, I lost every single game, so I'm not gonna show you any replays. But that's enough for the deck. Let's go ahead and talk about the news. And since I guess everyone was complaining about the Bamboo Sword OTK, they are actually nerfing it. Where's it? January 5. Currently, we are receiving a lot of feedback on duels against a deck using Woodland Sprite. In order to maintain a game balance and considering the KC Cup on February, we may update the limited forbidden list based on our current PvP duel data. We will keep players updated on how we address this concern in further notifications. In order to continue providing a fun and balanced environment for all players of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, we will be making changes to the forbidden list and skills as necessary. When changes are to be made, the details of the changes will be communicated to players before they are implemented. So, I don't know if we really do need that change to where they restricted. There's a lot of counters to it, but I can see where a lot of people are complaining about it. Maybe they might be new at the game, or they don't know how to counter the card, or they really don't know what to do against it. But overall, I think it's playing it. It's a 50-50 like a win percentage with the deck. So I wouldn't recommend it playing it, because again, it's really luck based. Really no skill to play it. All you really have to do is know what the swords do, and that's basically it. All right, now I think they're updating the card trader, and let's read the new legendary duelist. A new character in Duel Links World in Duel World GX is gonna, I guess, appear. I Desires Victory. I think that's gonna be Sane, and hopefully he brings out Cyber Dragons. Card trader inventory Cyber Dragons was actually one of my favorite cards. So they're adding Popcorn. While a field spell card is face up on the field, this card gains 1,000 attack. So I think this card has a ton of potential. I think there's a field spell, if I remember correctly, that makes I think level 2 monsters gain 1,000 attack. I think or 2,000 attack. I think it's Wetlands. Don't quote me on that though. I think that's what it is. And if you play like a Wetlands deck with this guy on, I think it's just gonna be a complete beatdown deck. So that you could find some use in that. And then the next one's Horsey Tail. It's a rare. When this card is destroyed by a battle and sent to the graveyard, special summon one Horsey Tail token, plant type, wind level 1, attack 0, defense 0, to your opponent's side of the field in defense position. When this token is destroyed by battle with a plant type monster, its controller sends one card from their hand to the graveyard. So you're basically, whenever they destroy, you're basically able to take one of their cards from their hand. And then Griggle. This actually, I think it saw some minor play in the TCG. I think it was being played with like a creature swap, and there was another card that it was being used, but I can't remember right off the top of my head. When the control of this face-up card on the field shifts to your opponent, increase your life points by 3,000 points. This effect can only be used once as long as this card remains face-up on the field. So, I mean, it could be useful in the future. I don't know how useful it'll be now. It is a level 1 plant. But other than that, I don't see much use until we get the creature swap. So you can go ahead and creature swap it, leave it in attack mode, you gain the 3,000, then you attack over for damage. I think that was about it for the news that they've released. So if you have any questions or comments, or if you have I guess any suggestions for future deck profiles or anything like that, or any ideas that you might have for a video, do leave them down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like. And if you are enjoying my content, I would truly appreciate if you subscribe. Again, I would truly appreciate any feedback. If you think the videos are terrible, if you think the sound quality is terrible, something that you might not like in my videos, just let me know down below. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.